The house feels alive again now that you're here.
I
Of
figured it
all
would
the
be
places
years
we've
until I
lived,
saw
this is
you
my
again.
favorite.
And here you are.
Now that we're both retired, you mean? I keep trying to push your father to do things. Dance lessons, vacation, take some courses. I'm really interested in early colonial art. But he's just happy as a clam reading in his chair for hours. Wants to know the history of every little thing. It's nice to have time to do both, though. You're welcome anytime. And I mean anytime.
That Aquila City bank robbery story on SSNN. That was you, right?
Of course it was. Oh, I was so proud. My child, on the news.
I nearly dropped my drink. You were dealing with bank robbers? Jesus. You stay safe, all right? Honest to goodness, bank robbery.
As soon as I saw that story, I talked with Linda. You know Mrs. Ming across the hall, and she didn't believe me.
I swear our friends think we're making you up. I almost want you to show up in your finest Constellation outfit at poker night, just so I can show them. Wait, you're a ranger too? I swear. But next time, let us know you got a story coming on.
Might save your dad from having a heart attack.
I asked my boss what they're doing at Starfield P31.
Constellation is no stranger to loss. Our own founder left on an expedition and never returned. It is easy to talk about the glory and excitement of breaching into the unknown, of lighting the darkness. But it is harder to stare into the face of the cost. That all of our progress is built on top of the lives of those who dared. And that we owe them the courage to continue our work in their memory.
Thank you, Sarah. If anyone else would like to say a few words. Thank you. If anyone else wants to say something.
I thought maybe I would come up with something to say, but I've got nothing. So, instead, I thought I would quote something that gave me comfort a long time ago. Is God real? The more proper question would be, is reality divine? Existence itself is a mystery which yearns to be uncovered. What is goodness but a comparison to the good? What is existence but a participation in being? For where the diversity of the universe inspires awe and wonder, it exists only in contrast to a simplicity so pure that it may only be understood as primordial and even divine. Our essence is what was imagined by its mind. But what we consider imagining and what we consider mind are in fact so far beyond our understanding that even these metaphors are like the tiny white caps on a massive searching sea. There's more, but those are the parts that speak to me the most. Thank you.
That was really thoughtful, Mateo. Thank you. Does anyone else want to say anything?
I don't often speak about what I believe in. It seems so redundant with how I live. But death is one of those occasions where it's hard not to look inward. Our friend is gone. There's no afterlife, or second meetings. No God in heaven that is curating a perfect ending for them. So it's up to us. We are what lives on. If the pain of loss inspires us to greater action, then that is the good that comes from this. Humanity is what truly creates our world. We are the ones that judge things to be good or evil, joyful or mournful. Let us take responsibility for it. Let us remember what we have lost.
Walter, are you part of the House of Enlightenment? I never knew that.
Yes, well, I like to keep some things private. However, I know Barrett would have appreciated the sentiment.
I hope this is all okay. Between fixing things up and sending out messengers and getting all the paperwork done. It's not much. No, it's fine. Sorry, if I talk any longer, I'm gonna start crying. Could you excuse me?
I don't believe we've met. Ajay Mamasa, former chair of Constellation. I wish the circumstances of my visit were better. Yes, I'm sure I understand. Unfortunately, this isn't the first Constellation funeral I've been to. After 35 years, you say goodbye to a lot of friends. I hope you don't mind me saying, but I feel numb just thinking about it. I was the one who invited Barrett to join. Oh, he was so brilliant. Even if the rest of us couldn't always keep up. Exactly the same as when you met him, I bet. Oh, smiles. Saying just the wrong thing at just the right time. You don't mentor someone like Barrett as much as you let him go and try to contain the damage later, eh? Ah, yes. I officiated his wedding. Ah, young Irvin. I told him he was signing up for a lot with Barrett, but he didn't care. I bet relationships in Constellation are still messy, aren't they? We're more of a family than an organization. All the former lines bleed together. It makes the losses sting harder. But I hope it means the time you had together was all the more important. That's how I like to think of it, anyway. Oh, yes. I was Sebastian Banks' protege, if that gives you any idea of how long I was part of our little club.
Chat for a bit? Normally, I hate talking to people at funerals, but, well... You don't believe in the afterlife, do you? I mean, this might be the worst time to bring it up, but... Yes. Won't we all? Well, I've taken up enough of your time.
It almost feels wrong to be grieving. Selfish. No amount of tears will bring the dead back. Yes, we don't have a way of knowing whether we really touch the departed with our grief. We just have to have faith. It's just easier to feel guilty, if you'll excuse me.
Hey, how are you holding up? Take some time for yourself, okay? Plenty of rooms to sit down in if you need to be alone for a while. We'll get through this. It might feel like everything's falling apart, but that's why we need to stick together. Anytime. There's something I need to talk to you about. A loss is always hard. Constellation will get through this together, like always.
I am told these types of gatherings are a sad occasion. That assumption appears to be correct. I appreciate you verifying my analysis, although I am certain my thanks will do little to improve your current psychological trauma. If you would like, though, I can add some consoling language to my programming. It will take some time to adapt, but it will be okay. How was that? I will note that feedback for later.
Hi. No. And don't keep asking. I'm not gonna be, alright? Everything's worse now. So many people here. So many people saying goodbye. Is this supposed to make everything okay? Make everyone feel better? What's the point? It's not going to change anything. Every day is going to be worse now. Don't you get that? I want to be alone for a while, okay?
Drink? Pour one out to the blackest sea? Two old friends. May their ghosts go past the edges of space, to the great beyond. I.
Is it quieter in the lodge, or is it just me? Death is a bastard. Comes for us all. You know, there's an old Aquila story about two pioneers who got lost trying to find a new frontier to settle. One of them takes ill. Clear he's not gonna make it, he turns to his partner and says, "Don't bury me. Let the ground take what it's due. I'd rather be a ghost chasing after you than walk through the pearly gates knowing an eternity of loneliness until you get there." Sad story, huh? You look after yourself. You got time for a quick chat? I'd appreciate it when you're able.
Everyone is in mourning. I understand, but I cannot quite share in their emotion. After the shock of what happened faded, I have felt nothing else. Just a numbness. I have seen death. I have lost people I considered close. But this is... it is not the same. I cannot explain why. I am not sure I am making sense. I am not sure I agree, but now is hardly the time to debate it. If you are free soon, could we talk?
once more. Then space.
By the way, Captain,
I agree.
Sergeant Yumi was looking for
100%.
you. Sounds like he's got... Be careful if you run into those ecliptic jerks. They fly around like they
It's
own
cliche,
themselves.
but it's true. Everything
And they
has a
like to use
price.
old abandoned
Ah, yes, I've been expecting you. Here's your package. And don't worry, I've already corrected the ownership record for you. Good. I'm glad we understand each other. Thanks for your business. We've been in New Atlantis for a very long time, before most things topside were built. With lots of infrastructure already in place, ample storage, and discreet access to the spaceport, it makes sense to stay. It's had the unintentional, but not unwelcome, side effect of weeding out people who can be timid about doing business. If you need anything else, you know where to find us.
My face burnt on that enhance. I want to look like a complete...
Been up there, huh?
Dealing in art is, more exciting than one would think.
Shh! Are you crazy? Keep your damn voice down.
Buy low, sell high. I'm sure there's a wealthy banker in New Atlantis that will greatly appreciate what you just delivered to me. Yes, just hand it over. You've held up your end of the bargain. Our transaction is complete, so I'll be on my way. Take care and let's not talk about this again. Goodbye.
Appreciate the business.
Captain, hello again. I was uncertain you would return.
Remember our last conversation, when you told me the artifacts made you feel like you were being pulled across the entire galaxy? Well, it got me thinking, so I dove into our archives and started looking through Constellation's older journal entries. Just because I wasn't familiar with the experience you described, doesn't mean the same might have been true for my predecessor. Unfortunately, no. Other than you and Barrett, there were no records of direct encounters with the artifacts. I have to admit, though, I did get more than a bit sidetracked reminiscing about old times. Really? I'm surprised that I haven't. After reading those journals, all of the pleasant memories of my time spent with Aja just started flooding back. She absolutely was. Aja was the one that taught me the ropes at Constellation and took me under her wing as her protege. Yeah, I thought so too. That's why I adopted her methods. You know, Aja and I logged quite a few interesting discoveries together. But it was the journey itself that I'll never forget. Exactly. For me, it was all about the quieter moments. There was nothing quite like sitting back and watching space bend while listening to Aja spin vivid stories to fill the time. Oh, I find that sort of cozy isolation the best way to really get to know someone. I'll take that as a compliment. Thank you. You know, all this talk about Aja reminds me that my time with her was a gift. I miss her dearly. I wasn't gunning for her spot. In fact, everyone at Constellation was surprised when she announced she was retiring and moving to Parima 2. Come to think of it, if we're ever out that far, perhaps we could pay her a visit, and I could make proper introductions. Well, I don't expect you to be a carbon copy of Aja. Just be yourself. You see, it's clear that we share the same hunger to discover what's out there. And that, well, that's what intrigues me about you. I won't be disappointed at all. And if it turns to be the case, I'm certain things will continue to run smoothly. Anyway, that's all I had to discuss for now. Thanks for spending time listening to me. It really helps.
So we know the answer. Who are the Starborn? Well, we are. We're some cracked mirror version of ourselves. The whole thing seems unreal. No argument here. I was hoping the Starborn were somehow so advanced that their concerns were cosmic, significant. Instead, they're fighting over goddamn toys like we've been doing since caveman times. It's just a stupid game to them. And all our deaths and suffering, not relevant. And they seem to be just as messed up as the rest of us. So the Unity is a gateway. A gateway to countless possibilities. And you have a chance to go through it. Imagine. I'd be lying if it doesn't sound like the adventure of a lifetime. I don't know if you're taking anyone with you. But if you take me, I got no idea if I'd go through or not. If it weren't for Cora, I'd jump on it in a heartbeat. Cora would probably shove both of us out of the way and dive in first. Born explorer, that girl. I can't say I blame you. I'm not sure everyone in Constellation wouldn't make that leap, though. I know it's your decision who to work with, but you gotta remember that the Hunter murdered our friend. Sure, the emissary may be a version of Barrett, but he's not our Barrett. But that doesn't make what the Hunter did right. Not by a long shot. If the Starborn are party crashers from different universes, I'd side with the one that's not willing to murder innocents to win. Excellent. Glad to hear it. My head is still spinning. Maybe after a few nights' sleep it'll be clearer. Take care.
I have been thinking about what we talked about before. The idea of purpose in one's life. We spoke of the difference between having a purpose and having goals. I believed myself right in the moment and dismissed what you were saying. But thinking more, perhaps I have been arrogant to assume I am right. I have been single-minded in my pursuits. I have always believed the decisions I made were necessary. that there was no other option. I have sacrificed much to be where I am now. And I'm starting to wonder if it has been worth it. Doubts have never been something I would consider. I have told you that I am not one to discuss my past. And yet, no, that is not what I'm trying to say. I promised to provide for my family. That meant working with smugglers to procure supplies we could not acquire any other way. I have spent my adult life away from my home, jumping from one planet to the next, living in dangerous conditions, often surrounded by violence. We were taught from a very young age that family always comes first, and no price is too great to pay to ensure its survival. I was convinced from the beginning that it was unwise to let anyone get too close. I had, maybe not quite friends, but people I cared about. Yet there was always a distance I could not reach across. I often find other people complicated and confusing. It seemed easier to not become attached, especially when circumstances meant I might never see them again, with no warning. Until now, I have disagreed strongly with that idea. But therein lies my concern. What I am trying to say is that I now wonder whether it has been the right decision to distance myself from others. Huh. I suppose this is true. Thank you for listening to me. These are not easy conversations for me. I have things I wish to discuss with you, when you have time.
Captain, may I be of assistance on your ship?
Advocate? Well, I suppose that's station in order. Goodbye.
Waiting for the good word, Chief.
You picked a good day to drop by. Bartender's making them strong today. You in town for business? Cheers. Nothing like a cold one after a long trip through the space lanes, if you ask me. It seems like we have that in common. Personally, I'm here looking for work. I just quit my job as a weapon tester for MAST. Do I need a shower or something?
Never a dull day in the big city. Hope life is treating you well. Let me know if I can get you anything. You ever have one of those days where it feels like nothing is going right? I am having one of those lives. And before you say anything, I am fully aware how shockingly overdramatic that actually is. I'm just tired of setbacks. I know. I'm overreacting. It's just I'm so close to seeing this through, and I've wanted it for so long. And why can't I just get what I want without problems? Look what this is doing to me! I'm whining! I have never, ever been a whiner! Alright, hyperbole aside, here's the situation. My friend Sasha, who you may or may not have seen hanging around, was working on securing a location for us to set up production on a larger scale. She was looking into a place down in the well, and I haven't seen her. I don't want to say I'm worried, but I'm a little worried. I can't really get away from the bar here. Would you mind checking up on her? I'm sure everything is fine. It would put me at ease, if nothing else. Oh, thanks. One less thing to worry about, you know? I'm sure it's fine, right? It's fine. You might want to look for her at Kay's place. Either she's there or Kay and Teresa will know where to find her. And thanks.
Everyone's welcome, so long as you keep your hands. Sasha? No, haven't seen her in a little while now. Pretty sure she's still in med bay. And if she's not, she's gonna be off her feet for a while, from what I hear. Poor girl. I don't expect we'll be seeing her here for some time. Couldn't say. Heard she was pretty tight-lipped about what happened to her. Oh, sure thing. If you see her, tell her I hope she's better soon. And that she's welcome back for dinner anytime.
I've got limited resources.
Hey, if you're here because I owe somebody, let them know I'm still good for the credits. I'll pay it back as soon as I'm out of here. Meantime, afraid I can't help you too much. Doc says I need to rest a bit longer. Yeah, no doubt about that. Thing is, though, I've seen worse, too. Doc says it'll be alright in the long run. Oh, that's so nice of her. You must be the one who's been helping her with this whole supernova project, huh? She's gonna feel guilty about this. Not her fault, but she'll feel it just the same. The job I was doing for her is what landed me here. Got in over my head. Just a little bit. But usually I can make it work. Wasn't supposed to be trouble. Went sideways, but that's my fault. She's all starry-eyed over this supernova business. I get it. Real great opportunity for her and all. I'm glad. She needs space to make the stuff. I heard talk that Sub-12 had recently been vacated. Thought it might be what she needed. So I went to check it out. Turns out I wasn't the only one who'd heard about it, and I wasn't the first to get there. Real slimeball. Calls himself Fizz. Can you believe someone picked that as a nickname? He's trying to squat on the place. I don't know. What do lowlives usually do? Selling drugs, causing trouble. You know how it goes. No, not really. I've had run-ins with him before, so we had some words. I may have said some things about his mother, and him and his goons jumped me. It wasn't my brightest moment, clearly. But look, Sub-12 is the place Nissa needs. And that means someone needs to get Fizz and his goons out of there. I wasn't able to do it, but maybe you can. It'd be nice to give Nissa some good news. He's got at least 2 chumps with him as backup, so he's feeling pretty sure of himself. But at the end of the day, he's a coward at heart. If you lean on him hard enough, bet he'd snap and no one would have to get hurt. That'd be great, if you can manage it. Well, hope you have better luck than I did.
Don't you think it'd be good for them to spend some time
I could use a damn drink.
Just waiting for my moment.
Whatever you're here for, we're out. Won't get more supply for a few days, so get your fix somewhere else. Oh, us. It's this fun little thing called none of your goddamn business. What? And who the hell are you? You got some really lousy friends. She might as well have asked you to jump off mast. You're gonna end up in the same shape. That ain't gonna happen. If I wanted a job, I'd go get one. And here I am. And go find some space of your own. Somewhere else. We just wanted a space without security breathing down our necks, you know? Maybe. We weren't looking to stay forever, you know? Fine, we'll go. This place sucked anyway. You can have it.
I don't know, we could set stuff on fire, I guess.
We don't want security poking their noses down here.
Okay, so...
Hey there, Nissa's friend. Been up to anything fun lately? Wow, that's great news. Kind of sorry to hear there were no broken bones, but in the long run, it's great. Doc says I'm not quite done here yet, so you'd better take the good news to Nissa. And please, make sure she knows I'll get things up and running for her soon. I won't let her down.
If you're in the market for
How are you doing?
Am I being reassigned?
Hope life is treating you well. Okay, and? I knew it. I knew she was going to get herself into trouble. So did she find the place? Are we set? Oh my gosh, thank you. That is incredible news. So this is it. I've got everything I need. Wow. Look, I know how much you've gone out of your way to help me. You didn't need to do any of this. You certainly did need to invest in this yourself. I appreciate that you trust me that much. I just want you to know that this is going to be a success. I've known it from the beginning, and I will be certain and share that success with you. It'll take us a little while before the credits start rolling in, but they will. And some of them will roll your way. Meantime, you're always welcome here. Make sure you stop by often, okay?
Ready to shoot some targets if you want to reassign me, boss.
Ah, if it isn't my favorite part-time security officer. Same job I mentioned before. Bar fight, missing wedding ring. Thank you, Captain. Let me know when the matter's resolved. A restaurant over in the residential district. Caters to a very fancy clientele. It's the kind of place where forks come in different sizes, depending on the food. See you later.
Hey, Captain. Sergeant.
There is simply no parallel to the food you will find here. One taste, and I'm sure you'll agree.
A most unfortunate incident, complicated by the fact that both parties were inebriated. While I wasn't privy to the entire argument, Hugo and Octavio had been dining here together for quite some time. So, it was surprising to see them at each other's throats. Well, the one who stayed with UC Security, Octavio, is a shorter man, handsome and refined. His favorite menu item is the Saint, I believe. The other, Hugo Fournier, is a tall, slender gentleman with a French accent. Excellent tipper, well-mannered, but a bit hot-tempered. Oh, yes, quite often. They had a usual table over in the far corner, with all the traditional accoutrements. Music, candles, wine. You see where I'm going with this. But this time the two had barely sat down before the argument got heated. Thankfully, security stepped in before anyone got hurt. I wasn't witness to any theft, and both men were wearing rings, if I recall correctly. I assume that would be the slender gentleman, Hugo Fournier. He was the one who excused himself after UC Security arrived. I believe he lives in Athena Tower, although he may be checking out soon. But I would start there.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Howdy. Oh, I can't believe that Octavio. That liar, that manipulator, that... Thank you. He's a scoundrel and a fiend, and I was wrong to ever think otherwise. 5 years we were together, half a decade! And he threw it all away for that waiter. It was supposed to be a romantic dinner, our last before we pledged our lives to each other. But an hour before, I decided to do some cleaning to calm my nerves. I picked up a pair of pants he left on the floor, and out falls a napkin from the Dawn's Roost with a number written on the back. To think he had the audacity to schedule a date with me at the same restaurant? I was livid! Still, I went to the date and held it together just long enough for the waiter to serve us, then I went off! He would say that, but as far as I'm concerned, it's my property. He gifted it to me when he proposed. It's not his to return. All right, but I'm leaving this city as soon as I can calm myself down. As soon as my assistant finishes packing, he would say that. He gifted it to... I'm glad you could see reason. This ring is going to fund a very long vacation across the settled systems. Maybe I'll even take pictures.
Nice day for a picnic.
I love it.
What? Hey there.
Crime has slowed down. Ah, perfect. Ugh. Really? I should have known this was a waste of time the moment I laid eyes on that drunk. That's on me. Without saying names, there are some people in this city who treat us like their personal security service. But you know how it goes. Sometimes we protect, other times we serve. Either way, I'm still going to pay you for your time. Here, take this. It's well deserved.
It's always a great day here in New Atlantis. Stay safe.
Have a tight itinerary today, so I'd ask you to keep haggling to a minimum. I got some cargo that could use a good home. space. Maintain course and prepare to be scanned. And we're done. Enjoy Gagarin.
If my services are inadequate, please leave a complaint so I can
I'm sorry,
improve.
but if this isn't directly related to Reliant Medical business, you should really schedule an appointment. Mm-hmm.
You been to Clint's recently? You get crushed under all that crap yet?
Wonder if there are any mining jobs on Mars these days. Could put up with some dust. Well, dust.
Don't get in the way of the robots. I'm not responsible if they step on your toes. Sorry, I don't mean to be rude, but I've got a lot of shipments to process still, so let's cut to the chase. Are you here to claim a shipment in storage, or do you have some other shipping concern? Well, it's owned by Unified Transport. We employ a mostly robotic staff. Fewer mistakes that way. We do short-term storage, long-term. I guess that's pretty much it. It's a warehouse. We do shipping. Enough said. Back to work, then.
Lost? The trick to the catwalks? Just keep turning right. You'll get where you're going eventually. Or was it left?
Chronicles of the Mech Riders. It's a good title. You read it, right? Oh, and that's just the beginning. Action, adventure, heartbreak, humanity at its absolute most raw. Ever since I left the military, I've been thinking about writing chronicles. Interviewing other mech pilots about what it was like to experience the war strapped in, and what it's been like for us ex-pilots since mechs were banned. Well, in the bold future where the book's done and I don't have to track packages for a living anymore, I'll happily sign your copy. Now, what can I do for you? When folks lose a limb, some get ghost sensations. Feel like the limb's still there. Well, imagine that across your whole body. When you're strapped in long enough, you and your machine, you grow to understand each other. What the machine can take and keep going, and what the human can. We'd even sleep in our mechs so we could deploy faster. And since they were a hell of a lot more comfortable than the cots the UC issued, you spent your life cradled in the arms of a war machine. That's what it's like to pilot a mech, and that's what I want to write about. Roger that.
Please ignore the clutter. We have a system.
Our last head of security was a real hard-ass. Now, if Chief Pretorius chews you out, he probably...
End of the colony war hit Gagarin hard. The city's just fine.
I'm Dr. Keala. Are you a new patient? If you're a UC citizen, I can look you up, get your... Oh, well, hello right back at you. If you're ever in need of medical services, you just let me know. Don't be a stranger.
Security is usually good about keeping out strays, but keep your eyes open.
Some of the other executives and I have been looking to form a town council.
ensure everyone's voices are heard in city matters. The locals would be invited, of course. All these fancy new businesses going up, and we still can't get them to open up a chunks.
My mom said the other day that she was gonna ship me off to Neon. I think that's bad.
Someone painted some choice words on the front of the Arc Light factory the other day. The robots took it down pretty quick.
Gagarin's not an easy place to live. Nice to finally be getting some new neighbors.
Buzz off, all right?
Looking for a drink? Don't serve anything fancy, so if you're about to ask for wine spritz or whatever, you can hop right back on your ship to New Atlantis. Feel free to see yourself out, Spritz. Suppose you heard the news. Terramorphs in the UC capital. You're in the right place. See ya.
A few more years of toil, and I'll have all the credits I need.
Apparently the corporate execs are talking about building their own priority catwalks above the city. You been up there? Yeah. Good luck.
Sure the catwalk's all right. I don't want to have to fish anyone else out of the canyon.
It's a hike. Get out of the damn city.
Sorry, you're back. Weird. I've always been passionate about environmental law, so coming here was a natural fit. Imagine having all these wild ideas about how you were going to end corporate malfeasance, and I couldn't even win one case. But you can only cry about it for so long. I told myself to suck it up and win the next one, and the one after that. It didn't matter how many tries it took, I'd just keep chiseling away at the whole justice system until I made a crack. That's right. And the one thing I've learned is there's no one case that'll solve everything. It's a process. I'll let you get back to it then.
So, we finally have all the answers. And yet here I stand, feeling like I understand even less than I did before. This talk of the unity of a multiverse? Dead friends appearing again? It is all simply too much. And you think it is just that simple? It would seem to me that verifying this is much like verifying the idea of an afterlife. If this is all true, as the Starborn say, then passing through the Unity will allow one to know the truth. But whomever does that will then never be able to report that truth back to the rest of us. What good then does it do us? We did not, could not, have understood that our mission would bring us here. If this is true, it changes so much of what we know about the universe, and we have no way to know unless we make this leap. Even if everything the Starborn have said is true, if you pass into this Unity and come out in some other universe, look at who they are, at what they have become. They have the faces and voices of people you know, but are nothing like them. Are you not at all worried that the same fate would befall you? that you would become someone unrecognizable to the rest of us. That feels very much like you are just trying to delay this conversation as long as possible. But you are not wrong. And certainly, at this point, we would not want the artifacts falling into any other hands. We should get back to it. Now that we know what to work towards, there's no time to waste.
Man, the galaxy's too big to be stuck in the same place. It's about time. I miss the company. No life signs nearby. Just another dead rock.
If you see a violation, it's your duty to say something. Captain, welcome back.
Was afraid you might have gotten reassigned. You've been gone so long. So how's it feel to be a citizen? Must have changed up how the ceremony works. I just raised my hand and said, sure, I'm in. But it is real good to have you here again. We've been going through the Terramorph data and, well, we're gonna need all the help we can get. These logs, they're even more thorough than I remembered. Genetic workups, population statistics, hell, even their food chain.
I'd completely forgotten, for example, that there was a creature that actually ate Terramorphs. At this point, the data's given us more options to explore than we have people to work on them. Well, 8. They went extinct a few decades back. A big lumbering thing called an Aceles.
Something I'd love to learn more about, if we had the people to look into it. That'd be something, wouldn't...
I'm sorry, are you?
You're serious? You found our research team? That's incredible. That accelerates everything. With them back, it'll let us...
Wait. Kaiser. Did you find Kaiser? That's right. You would need that. Whoever gave you these leads sure knew their stuff. Well, how? How exactly did you manage to find them?
You can't be... Oh. You are serious. Okay. No more questions.
But still,
getting Kaiser back, that gives us more than a few new paths forward on dealing with the Terramorphs.
But if he's been out there on his own all this time, you're gonna need something. Come on.
We've already made a lot of progress getting this place back online. Some of the containment chambers were a bit on the unpleasant side, but the facility staff made short work of that. know it's here somewhere. Uh-huh.
Here, Kaiser schematics. Actuators, weapons, batteries.
That old robot's been MIA for a while, so chances are he's gonna need some repairs.
He's also got a lock on his voice controls. You can give yourself authorization with the phrase, Nos belli machinis. Now, where exactly is the old machine?
A battlefield. On Nira?
Ugh, sheesh. No wonder no one's found him.
That sector of Nira was destination #1 for xenoweapons during the war. Add to that general environmental devastation, and the kind of lawlessness that comes with any Freestar world, and that planet's got more than enough ways to make a visit your last. But I think there's a place where you can start your search. Yep. One-of-a-kind salvage. Licensed to an Angelo Alonso. Goes by Gel.
As good a place to start as any.
The Colony War saw a lot of hard fighting, but Nira got it the worst. Everything the Freestar Collective and UC could muster, ground troops, xenoweapons, mechs, was hurled into the fray. Both sides hoped something would decisively turn the tide, but it never did. When the war finally ended, swaths of that world were so devastated they were effectively abandoned. So what Kaiser's doing there of all places, I can only guess at.
Kaiser lets us do field work with a level of precision that there's really no other way to accomplish. More than a few of the options we're looking into. Detectors to uncover the Terramorph transmission method, or crafting a targeted biological agent. They require highly specific materials to test against. And asking a group of Marines to accompany us for that kind of work, well, it usually ended up with ruined samples and wounded teammates. And I'll make sure we're ready to put them to use as soon as you've got them.
It's good to be out and about. The lodge gets stuffy sometimes. Breathe that in.
Nero was one of the biggest, nastiest battle sites of the whole colony war. Lots of dead militia here. And Marines.
Hey! New model on the floor. Welcome to the one-of-a-kind. Refuge and rest home for the hardest scrappers anywhere. Name's Jill. Proprietor. So formal. The pleasure's all mine, my good man. Angelo Alonso, at your service. You can call me Jill. Can I get you started on a tab, then? Or you here to try and make your fortune in the fields? I'm happy to take your credits however you want to hike them over. No better selection on the planet. Lots of money to be made on mech scrap if you know where to look. And I just happen to sell a guide that'll show you the best spots to get started. Couple of words of warning, though. As you may have put together, Nira's more dangerous than a cellophane airlock. And it's not just the environment that'll kill you. UC brought xeno-weapons here during the Colony War, and more than a few decided to put down roots. Sirens are the ones you really need to watch out for. You've also got the unauthorized scrappers, Ecliptic being the worst of the bunch. Kill you for looking at them wrong. Luckily, we sell a wide array of problem solvers in various colors and calibers. Any Nira scrapping expedition starts by checking my stock. Kaiser? No bot around here with that tag. Oh, unless you mean Captain Ahab? At least, that's what we've all been calling him. No clue what his actual designation is, since he's got some sort of security protocol that prevents inquiries and general chit-chat. But he's a combat bot, right? Yeah, that machine's been out there a while now, hunting this one siren. His white whale. But it's been a while since anyone's laid eyes on Captain Ahab, though. Maybe he finally got the thing. Or it got him. Nasty kind of alien left behind after the Colony War. Pretty much blind. Original ones brought to Nira were all xeno-weapons. But those critters have long since passed. But they left behind more than enough untrained babies to keep the fields plenty interesting. That's where I recognize that insignia. Red Devils. Yeah, Ahab's definitely your bot. So, sounds like you've got two options. You can wander around out there, hunting your bot, little old white whale of your very own. Maybe you find him. Maybe you get yourself killed. But knowing this rock is part of what we do here. So if you want to find him a whole lot faster, I'll sell you what I know about this. Kaiser's location. Going rate's a little steep, but I'm willing to negotiate. I'm listening. In my experience, the right offer is always worth waiting for. Hold on. I never said that was my final offer. I hope I can trust you. I'm glad you understand the position I'm in here. Okay. You made your point. I'll give you a discount. Pleasure doing business with you. So, last anyone heard of him, he was out near the Syracuse. Shipwreck about a quarter click down the main strip. One of my roughnecks said he heard some kind of beacon. Just keep your ears open. You should find your machine. Eyes open, too. Sirens and Ecliptic out there, and neither takes prisoners. Oh, and corpse retrieval is not included in this transaction, so now you know. Give Ahab a Kaiser
Obvious.
You can feel the age and history here.
I'd hate to live my whole life in a bubble. We still haven't really tamed one.
Always nice to kick back in the broken spear after a long day.
Not many places older than Aquila. This, old stories, old planet.
I got a little bit of everything.
Take a look.
See you later, friendo.
Hey, you looking for anything in particular? Cool. That's what we do here. See you around.
Can't believe we're still blowing up huge mineral deposits after this.
Hi there, friend. Heading to my side.
Yes, what? Any vacancies on your crew? Trust me, you're beginning a bargain. Now, why is that? Hold on. I never said that was my final offer. I'd like to think so. You got yourself a deal. Where do you want me? Let me know when you have an assignment for me.
See you soon, Captain.
Excuse me. Whew. Long day.
Where to next?
colony war. Got some knickknacks I could part with. Was a lady red clay on her. Fly, my middies, fly. The prettiest lass you ever could meet. Fly, my middies, oh fly. Her kisses were tender and ever so sweet. Fly, my middies, fly. But father and brothers all threatened to beat. Fly, my middies, oh fly.
We here for the lodge?